Hey everyone, Tesla Tom here. Thanks for joining us. What you're about to watch is an interview with Jules, a fellow Tesla owner from Albury, New South Wales. He sustained quite severe damage to his Tesla Model 3 while parked in a public car park while he was at work. Unfortunately, due to licensing rights, I can't show that video, but you're welcome to watch it. I'll put a link up here and also in the description below. So keep watching as we chat to Jules about what happened to his car. Alright, Jules, well, thank you very much for joining us.
No worries, Tom.
So, Jules, can you explain in your own words what actually happened to your car?
So I'm at work, work at an art museum, and I'm just putting the final touches on an exhibition, and I get a text from my car to say Sentry mode is activated. So I go out and I walk over to my car, which is about, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes walk away, and the windscreen smashed, and I think, oh gee, what the hell could have done that? So take out the USB and take it back and have a look, and the guys walked up to it and smashed it with a skateboard.
Yeah, what was your first reaction to it?
Well, I couldn't figure out what could have possibly happened in the car park to have caused it, because it was just such a random thing. So it hadn't really occurred to me that it was a malicious damage. It just, I imagine someone had bumped my car or whatever. So yeah, then when I got the video home and had a look at it, I got a bit of an idea what had happened, and so I just we had our opening, and I'd gone out to dinner with some people that were there, and I got back and I kind of asked the Tesla group that I'm with, you know, what should I do with this footage? And they said, well, you need to post it on Twitter and see what comes of it.
Yeah, and did you post on Twitter?
So yeah, I posted, I think it must have been about 1 a.m. I posted it onto Twitter, and then when I woke up in the morning, it had gone ballistic. There was articles about it all over the place. The phone was ringing off the hook. And yeah, it just, there was a whole community outrage about it. And everyone wanted to find out who this guy was and why he'd done it.
Yeah, I mean, what was the general reaction to the video? I mean, we've all seen it. I mean, did people generally think it was, was it hatred towards Tesla, or was it just a hatred towards, luxury vehicles? What was the reaction?
Well, I think it was a bit of everything, because it seems so unmotivated. It was, the guys were standing around for probably 15, 20 minutes beforehand, and then they picked my car, and I'm still not sure whether it was just a random car that was in the wrong place, or whether it was targeted because it was a Tesla. But I think if it was targeted because it was a Tesla, it probably was the wrong car to target, because any other car they would have got away with it.
Yeah. And obviously people don't know that, or not many people know in the public, that there is Sentry mode that can record that. I mean, it's so good that Tesla's got this. I mean, without this footage, you would never know, would you, really?
Well, no, and look, I've had damage on other cars before. People have backed into me, and nothing ever comes of it because there's no evidence of what went on. So the Tesla thing is, well, it's saved me an insurance excess, and it's certainly helped find the people, because tips sort of came from all over the place, and not necessarily locally. They were given to other Tesla drivers. I had an anonymous letter in the mail, and then eventually it led to an arrest.
Yeah, let's talk about that. How did who actually found it, or how was the culprit actually apprehended?
Well, there was two guys. One guy actually didn't participate in it, but was hanging around with him, and he had a fairly high-profile job in town. So I got lots of information about who he was, but because he wasn't actively participate in it. He was unwilling to give up the other guy's name, and then another bit of information came through, which led to a bit of a search, and there was sort of no information about that person, and then suddenly, for some unknown reason, he put his Facebook profile back online, and then that gave me a whole pile of information that I could pass on.
Okay, so you actually got more information from social media rather than, or did you actually hand the footage into the police as well?
So I handed the footage into the police, and he wasn't on their radar, so they didn't know him. And even when I handed that name in, they didn't know him either. But it kind of led to other little tip-offs that resulted in his arrest.
So the Sentry mode alerted your phone.
So when the phone goes into an alarm state, not the Sentry state, like it goes into that Sentry mode and records little bits of information, and you get back to your car and you've got 3 alerts. But once you have a significant event that triggers the alarm state, it sends you a text message to say that alarm state has triggered.
I see, so you got a notification from the Tesla app itself saying the alarm.
Yeah, you got a notification from the Tesla app to say that it had gone off.
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so in summary, the alarm went off, you got a notification on your phone, went to check the USB stick, and then you posted it online, reported the police, and you got the arrest that way. I mean, is that kind of what the steps you'd recommend to someone else who has to go through this as well?
Oh, look, I guess so. I think you really need to leave a lot of it to the police to try and, you don't want to start messaging them or doing whatever, because I think that will could lead into a situation that's much worse than what you have. But I think it certainly gives you more information than you would have had. But I think that people were so outraged about the incident that they wanted to help in whatever way they could. And that was sharing it or reposting it or offering little bits of information.
Absolutely. I mean, when I saw the footage, I was outraged as well, and I certainly wanted to help. And it's so good to see the Tesla community being so collegiate about that and helping everyone out.
Yeah, it's a great little community because it has a whole pile of people that own Teslas for totally different reasons. There's a lot of people that are very interested in the performance of the car. There's people that are interested in the technology of the car, and there's people that care about the environment. And so it's a diverse and broad community. I like it.
So where are you up to with the car right now? So how long ago was that incident?
So it was about 3 weeks ago, and I had a windscreen insurance. So there was a little bit of damage to the mirror, but most of the damage was the windscreen. So it's been a challenge with NRMA because they wanted to have it repaired locally, and no one would repair it locally. So in the end, we had to make the decision was to send it to Melbourne, and they weren't particularly keen on that. And I'd made sort of plans to ship it at my own cost because I wanted it done there at Tesla. But as soon as there was an arrest made, it wasn't a problem. They cover it all and they'll chase it up, I think.
I mean, clearly the video helped with the insurance claim. Do you think if you hadn't had that footage, it might have been a bit more difficult?
Oh, without a doubt, if I hadn't had that footage, I'd be paying the excess and I'd be shipping it to Melbourne. And there would be no chance of an arrest without it. And it's hard to know if this was the first incidents. So how many other incidences have happened before, and how often does that go on and no one gets caught. So I think without Sentry mode, there would be no chance. Absolutely no chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Sentry mode in itself has helped greatly in this situation, and that's one of the reasons why you buy a Model 3 for this reason. You're right, so many of these incidents go on without being reported. You've not only captured it on your USB stick, you've also led to an arrest and also helped with your insurance claim as well. I think that's fantastic. You can't ask for more than that, really.
No, no, and I think even like there's a lot of third-party options, but the angle that it happened with mine, I haven't seen a third-party dash cam recorder that could get those angles that my car got, and the clarity of the image was pretty spectacular. It seems like over the period that I've owned the car that the images on the dash cam and the Sentry mode has got better and better. I don't know if that's my imagination or it's tweaks in software that have made it such over the time.
Yeah, no, it was really clear. You could definitely see the perpetrator's face very clearly. That's really good.
It was interesting too because there was all little bits of information that came from people that were into skating, knew exactly what sort of skateboard it was. There's people that knew the brand of jacket that it was. There's people that knew the sandals. So there was all this information about, what else might help you put the pieces together. So it wasn't just that information.
Oh yeah, I mean, it won't be long before people know not to mess with a Tesla because, video footage speaks for itself.
Well, that's right. It's very hard to dispute the fact when you've got a clear video of what happens. And look, I think that's fantastic. I think people, sometimes worry that their dash cam might expose them for doing things that they shouldn't do, and I think, well, that's fair enough too.
Yep.
As long as it gets to the truth of what happens, I think that's the important thing.
The truth, it's certainly hard to come by sometimes in these insurance claims and in these crimes. But yeah, video speaks for itself, right there. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I mean, this was a malicious damage thing, but there's also, traffic accidents and stuff that
yes,
that happens with as well.
Just quickly, Jules, back to the car park. It was a public car park, wasn't it, in Albury?
Yeah, it's a public car park in Albury. It's where I park my car every day, and ironically, I usually take that spot because it has a bollard on one side and a barrier on the other. So it's a spot that no one can open their door into. And I've gone almost a year without anyone opening their door into the car. So I'm trying to continue that. Because they're one of the things that really annoy me, those little door dings.
Which Sentry Cam will pick up as well, if that were.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And if you hadn't had Sentry Cam, were there any CCTV cameras in the car park that might have picked it up? Do you think?
No, there's no CCTV cameras in that car park, and it's quite a controversial. It's quite a controversial conversation because I actually work for Albury City, and I know they get a lot of pressure to put CCTV cameras in those things, but it does cost money and it does need to be maintained, and it does need to be have someone watching it or be able to play it back. Yeah, well, my view is that if you've got video footage of what's happened. There's debate about whether it deters crime, but it certainly solves it. And I think that's the thing about a Tesla is it does solve those things.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Jules, for your time and taking the time to chat with us about what happened to your car. Hopefully, all the damage gets sorted out and gets restored to what it was.
Okay, thanks, Tom.